Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I decided that I want to give this YouTube thing a try. I know that I am not super consistent, but that's just because I live in the moment. I tell you guys this all the time. I live in the freaking moment. But yeah, I did a Q&A on my Instagram and I asked what you guys wanted to know. I know that a lot of you think I've been pretty quiet and pretty boring on social media. Oh my god, do I dare say boring? But let's just get into everything that you guys been asking. By the way, this is a tipsy Q&A, so don't come for me, okay? Don't come for me. The drink of the night is Patron. So the first question is from Jen Lee, and she says, how am I after losing my brother? She's so sorry. Thank you, Jen. I'm okay. I don't know if okay is the right word, because here's the thing. I feel like grief is something that people don't talk about enough, because it's like, I didn't know if I was grieving normally. My version of grief is to throw myself into school, throw myself into whatever I'm doing. If you hear that racket, it's my dryer. It's jeans in the dryer. But yeah, if you don't know, my brother passed a couple months ago, and it's different. It's different losing a sibling. It just kind of feels, I really don't know the right word to describe how I feel. You know, like, it's something I feel like I'll never get over. I'm just gonna have to learn how to cope and how to move forward in this, but it's definitely been hard. It's definitely been really tough. So next question that a lot of you guys asked me was, how is school going? What am I in school for? All that. I feel like I talk about this all the time, but I am gonna answer it. So I am in a nursing program. When I graduate, I will be RN. I know a lot of you guys have hit me up about the LVN, LPN program. I do not know about that. I am in an RN program. And that's no shade. I'm just saying, like, I'm in an RN program, so I don't know, like, the bridge. I wouldn't know that process or what that is. And I graduate next year, late next year. I'm very excited. I'm doing very well. I would say that it's definitely opened my eyes. It's definitely a different type of schooling. Like, I am the kind of person that's, like, typically generally good at school. Like, I do good at school. It's kind of like one of my things. Some people are good at, like, sports. I'm not that person. I am a academic person. But nursing school has definitely pushed me to find new ways to study and find new ways to get supplemental information, because the course load is so heavy that if I don't click up with people who have similar goals in this program and look for supplemental information on my own time, I will be behind. So it's challenging. I won't sit here and say that it's like a walk in the park. It's challenging, but I definitely think I found a good group of people. And so far, every professor that I've had has been very kind, in a way that they offer extra time of their own personal time to answer questions and get us information and get us other resources to be able to understand the material, and not just understand it but be able to retain it. So I'm very optimistic about my future in nursing. I know there are a lot of people who have also said, like, look at all the stuff you've done on TV, like, how could you be a nurse? Well, because I separate the two. TV is my job, nursing is another job, and I do very well at both. So the next question is, where do I shop? I like your style, and what can I say about gaining personal style? I really can't tell you that, because to be honest, just the other day I was sitting in my living room and I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, I have tan, gold, black, white, the typical basic Instagram, TikTok, YouTube house that you see. And I'm like, I am going crazy. I want some color, I want some spice, I want something else. I'm not happy in this space. And so I started just adding things that I loved. not caring if they match, not caring how they're, I mean, I do keep in mind how they're gonna go with other pieces, but I really now base my purchases off of things that I love versus things that I feel like are trendy, because trends obviously come and go. So I'm myself working on my own personal style within my home. I'm filling it with color, I'm filling it with art, I'm filling it with crazy things on the walls, just things that really make me happy. So I would say start there. Start with things and colors that make you happy, because I feel like for me, I spend a lot of time in my home. Obviously, I work from home, so I want my home to be a reflection of my spirit, so to say. Like, I want my home to be as free as I feel like I am. Oh, and I don't want to forget this part. Where do I shop? For my clothes, I shop at Zara. I shop at Saks. I shop at Nordstrom. There are a lot of good brands in there. I don't want to start name dropping, because obviously I feel like you can find similar stuff. You can find whatever you like in your price range. It doesn't have to be designer. It doesn't have to be expensive. There are dupes out of this world. I'm a dupe queen. If I can get it off Amazon, I will not be paying full price for something. Like, that's just the God honest truth. So I shop at a lot of places, but I really do love Zara. And don't sleep on Target. Don't sleep on Target. The next question is, what procedures have I had done, and what procedures am I thinking about getting done? I feel like I've been very open with this, and I feel like this is a taboo topic, especially amongst black girls, but you guys know that I want to do aesthetic nursing, so obviously I like to talk about these type of things. So number one, I got my boobs done. I got a lift and an implant back in 2019, I want to say. It was a long time ago. And I just got a lift and an implant. I have 450 cc's, I think. I'm pretty sure 400 or 450. Keep in mind the cc's is like, they don't go off bra sizes, so my cc may look different on you depending on your breast tissue, yada yada yada. But so I got that done. I have some filler in my lips, a little less than 1 ml of filler in my lips, and that's all for the work that I've had done. I swear to you people. I'm thinking about getting lipo. I won't sit here and lie to you. I probably would never get a BBL, just because I like my shape that I have, and I would be terrified and just very sad if I came off that table looking crazy. So yeah, that's the answer. I would consider lipo. As far as my lips, I feel like I got enough in there. I really went for symmetry. I really like my shape. If you don't like it, that's on you. You're entitled to your opinion, and this is my opinion. I like it. But I won't be getting any more. My girl that does it told me to come back in the next year, so it's definitely something that I'll just be doing every year as opposed to every couple months. So I won't be getting baboon lips. Just that's the nutshell of that answer. Okay, so obviously a lot of you guys asked Teen Mom related things, and there are certain things I can't answer because obviously, you know, you're gonna have to watch the show to get the tea. But this question I can answer. So it's, how do I like being on Teen Mom, and would I take it back if I could? That is kind of a hard answer, because there are so many things I could say in regards to this whole journey that I've had over the past 6 years. But no, I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't take it back because it has afforded me so many opportunities, and I've met some really great people along the way. I've got to share my story, and I think that I bring something to the table because, you know, even though I was, how do I say this? People hate when I say this, but like, even though I was raised by my grandparents who were very, very well off, I made a lot of bad decisions that didn't reflect that, and I had to work through that. Now I'm a full-time nursing student. You know, I've always lived on my own. I've always held my own, and I think that's the positive aspect that I give. So I wouldn't take it back. Do I like it? At times yes, and at times no. And I think that anyone that has a job can say the same thing. Like, sometimes I feel like this is great, I could do this for the rest of my life, and sometimes I feel like, girl, take me off the roster today. But there are really good parts and parts that I wouldn't take back. And for that, I can say that despite my personal relationships on this show, my overall time on this show has been positive. So yeah, that's that. So what are the pros and cons of being a young mom? I think that's a good question because it's definitely a double-edged sword. On a very playful and light note, I always think, okay, I'm gonna be a hot mom. She's gonna be 20, I'll be 40, I'll still be doing my Dougie, you know what I'm saying? But on a real note, it is hard. I did sacrifice a lot of things that my peers were able to experience. Like, I really thought I was going to move into the dorms and have that experience and just do the whole college party thing. Obviously, I'm still doing college, but in a really different way than some of my peers were able to experience it. My timeline shifted because obviously we can always have a plan, but life truly does happen. And for me, you know, I thought I was going to be able to breeze through this and be an RN by now. But when I had Holly, life just happened. And before I knew it, the 3 months I was taken off of school became a year. It became a year and a half. And it's always harder getting back into something than it is to just stick to something. So, you know, seeing my peers live a life that I thought I was going to be able to live, or have opportunities that I thought I was going to be able to have, has always kind of been something that has been like on my mind. Now, obviously, I would not take Holly back for the world, so she's a plus, and I feel like having a kid has made me more responsible, has made me see the world through a broader lens, because I just feel like people that don't have kids are just selfish. Like, not in a bad way, but it's just like, when you don't have anybody else to look out for to this level, how could you be seeing the bigger picture? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Holly was a blessing, and the timing was, you know, a double-ended sword for me. But I can say that I do have young friends that are moms that are doing the damn thing, and they're inspirational too, because it's like, even though we had kids, we didn't let that stop us from furthering our education or traveling and being cultured, or making our kids cultured and realizing that that's what they needed. Like, so it's definitely a double-edged sword, but I wouldn't trade that either. That's another thing I wouldn't take back. How do I juggle nursing school, and how do I maintain self-care? How do I maintain self-care? Also filming, also everything. Okay, to answer that question, I just do whatever I want, that I feel like in the moment is going to make me happy. To be honest, I've been doing massages 3 times a month. I really love the massages. They're really good, relaxing. Sometimes I do a little bit of emotional shopping, which I don't recommend. I want to get into like sewing classes. I just want to get into more hobbies. I recently got back into reading. I really love to read, and right now I'm reading Prince Harry's book. But to be honest, I really don't know how I juggle it all. I should be doing more to take care of my mental health. I know that, but right now I'm just doing whatever I can to keep me in the best of spirits I can be. So that's reading, that's shopping. I go to the gym to just try to blow off steam, school, and getting my massages. Girl, you got to self-care, because taking care of a kid is hard. Being a human on this floating rock is harder than it should be, and I think that a lot of the times moms especially are always feeling so guilty for wanting to get out, have some fun. My best advice for that is to drop them fucking kids off and go. Drop them fucking kids off and go. buy that plane ticket, buy that concert ticket, drop them kids off and go, because at the end of the day you will feel so much better. I know I feel better when I drop them kids off and go. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I have to take Holly to my mom and just go be with my own thoughts for a second. And I really hate that today it's like, if you're not with your kid every single second, or if you don't enjoy every single second with your kid, you're not a good mom. No, I don't enjoy every single second with my kids. Sometimes I'm utterly annoyed. Sometimes I'm sad and grieving and I still have to make fucking Cheerios. Like, no. So drop them kids off and go. Best advice I can give you. The next question was, after I graduate nursing school, where do I plan to settle down? Where do I plan to go with my life? I really don't know. I don't know the answer to this question yet. I've been thinking about that because I've been planning to buy a house. I've been preparing to buy a house. Hopefully my Christmas present will be a house. And right now I'm thinking I'm gonna buy where I am. Something just, not anything crazy, not anything out of this world. I'm gonna buy something nice, something that I can be in for now, like a transitional first home, because I do want to stay here. I think I've had a very positive experience here, and this is obviously a full practice state. I've talked about that before. If you don't know what that is, basically a full practice state is a state that grants certain rights and certain rights to certain people in the medical field. So in Nevada, a nurse practitioner can own and operate their own business. And so I have to think about things like that, considering that's something that I want to do. And so I want wherever I live to be able to be a state that I can also practice in. I don't want to be traveling. So I'm thinking about it. And when I decide, I will take you guys along on the process. What is something that is on my bucket list, something I want to do, or a place that I want to travel? This is interesting because I love to travel and I love to make ridiculous bucket lists of things that I know I would be terrified of. I want to travel a lot of places. I want to go to Bali. I want to go to Mexico. I want to go to Tokyo for sure. Tokyo looks awesome. Tokyo looks so fucking, let me just say, Tokyo looks so fucking fun. And I'm the kind of person that like will binge watch TikToks about a certain thing, and so I've been binge watching TikToks of people in Tokyo and they're having the time of their life. There's just so many. I feel like you really don't know what the world is until you travel the world, because seeing places and seeing other cultures and seeing the way that other people appreciate life really is a priceless outlook on life. Like, it's just, once you start to travel, your mind can never, like, your mind is forever expanded. And I think everyone needs that opportunity to go away from where they are. It doesn't matter where you are. Go away from where you are, get with somebody that's totally different than you are, and learn a little bit about their culture, because it gives you such a different perspective on life. So I feel like traveling is definitely. Another question is, do I want more kids? That's always a question in this teen mom world. The answer is not right now. I am content with the way that God has set up my life, and I think that I have one kid for a reason, and I think that that is because I want to travel and I want to do so much that right now 2 kids is just not in the cards for me. And I think once I have traveled and I have built my career and I have seen, I would be that much better of a mother, because I will have had those experiences. And it's not that you can't do it with your kids, you can, but it is harder to travel with 2 kids than it is with 1, or than it is to leave that 1 kid and travel by yourself. So definitely travel. And something crazy on my bucket list would be like cave diving. I am afraid, I don't want to use the word afraid. I don't like enclosed spaces and water. I feel claustrophobic. So for me, something like cave diving would be like overcoming a really, really big fear. And I just feel like in this phase in my life, I want to overcome fears. The last question I'm going to answer is, how do you deal with losing friends or moving on from friends? It's crazy because I talked a little bit about this on my TikTok, and I was basically saying, like, you know how there are friends that you confide in and you can lean on them and they can lean on you, and then there are friends that just call you or come to you and they just trauma dump everything they're going through, everything they're feeling, and they never take a second to say, wait, how are you feeling, or what are you going through? Cut them off. In this year, please cut them off. I feel like I'm in a phase in my life that's like, I'm very reciprocal. If you are giving, I'm giving. If you are understanding, I'm understanding. If you're a shoulder, I'm a shoulder. But I no longer care to be a shoulder or an ear for people who don't offer that to me. And I think that we should get comfortable in losing people in our lives. Not to death. That's not what I mean. But just losing their presence, losing their friendship, because everyone is not meant to go everywhere with you. And I know that you hear that all the time and you're like, okay, yeah, I hear that. But it's like, if you're getting off the freeway here and they're getting off the freeway there, how could you guys ever meet back up without one of you looping back to point A to get the other person? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times when we're going to separate places, we don't meet. We don't meet at the intended spot. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work. Someone's got to double back, or someone has got to wait for the other person to tell them, and now we're back together. So someone is stalled, someone is double backing in this relationship. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you don't want to go with me, and I'm not saying you got to be a nurse to be my friend. I'm not saying you got to be in there. I'm saying if you don't want to elevate, I'm not double backing for you. I'm not double backing for you. And I think that we should think about that when we lose people. If they're getting off the exit, let them go. Let them go a different route. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you'll meet back up. But do you want to be the person to double back for them? I think not. Well, guys, that's all for my Q&A today. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to really try to stick to this YouTube thing this year. It was one of my resolutions, and obviously I'm starting very late. So that is part of my procrastination situation. Nevertheless, I am here. So subscribe, and I'll see you next week.